Hey everyone, it's Michael and I teach you how to become fluent in Spanish in 12 months or less. So today I'm going to talk about why speaking is so important to include in your curriculum, in your language learning. Now, speaking, I don't understand why more people don't put it into their curriculum. I do understand, but at the same point, it's like, let me just start off with an allegory. It's like if you're trying to play basketball or tennis or swim. I always go to basketball for some reason. I'm not even good at basketball. But it's like you're trying to play, and instead of going out there and playing, you sit in a classroom and you read about it. It's like, dude, you don't even know, mother effer, you don't even know how to dribble. You don't even know how to shoot. Like, you gotta get out there. It's like if you're trying to make friends and you're like, okay, I'll read how to make friends. No, you gotta get out there, start talking to people, start asking people to be your friend. I mean, no, there has to be better ways, but get out there. And so it all comes from, what is the end result that you want? Are you trying to become an academic in the language? Are you trying to only write in the language, only read? Are you trying to only speak in the language? Are you trying to communicate? Because there's two facets to the language. There's the documentation part, that we develop language to be able to write down history and to be able to pass out notes and communicate. And there's also the, we were grunting at one point, and it's like we had to develop a language to be able to be more specific and build relationships with people and communicate. So the part that I like is being able to communicate with people and have those relationships. So working backwards, if that's what you want to do, that's what you have to practice every single week. This should be if you can only do one thing a week, if you're hey, I only have an hour, Michael, what should I do? You should speak for 45 minutes with someone or half an hour, and the last 30 minutes or 15 minutes, review. Be hey, where did it go well? Where did it go wrong? Let me learn the few vocabulary words and grammar that I was struggling with so I can do it in my next session. That's it. Imagine if you do it 3 hours a week. That's what you're gonna do, 3 hours of speaking. Now you're always gonna include a little bit 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there of reviewing, getting more grammar, getting more vocab, but that's slowly going as you get better, because part of language learning is just getting confident. I've had people that have had a major in Spanish, a minor in Spanish in university, right? Where they have great vocab, they ace all their tests. There's someone over there. I put them in front of a native speaker, or I speak to them in Spanish, and they freeze. And it's I can tell as they're trying to speak to me, they're literally going through every single grammar rule that they've learned, everything, and they just freeze and they go overwhelmed. It's well, just stop thinking, just do. It's almost you probably met these people that have gone to Puerto Rico, have gone to Spain or whatever, Colombia for 6 months, and I've come back and they're super confident. They're ¿Cómo estás? Da, 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 da. And they have they have their slang down, and they're confident, and they may not have the best vocab or grammar, but they're going, they're fast, they got this. Whereas there's other people that have been studying it for 4 years, who you get them in front of a native speaker and they can speak, but there's so much hesitation. It's it's just not coming up because they're not used to it. And so I see that a lot of people, why do people not include speaking into their curriculum? Because it's scary. It really is. I've told people you're trying to practice a sport, I promise you, it's not as scary as putting yourself in front of someone that's just staring at you, waiting for an answer when you don't know how to communicate. I remember trying to say stuff in French where I'm oh my God, I can't communicate more than a 3-year-old. I'm at a 3-year-old sentences, and I can't even say I need to use the bathroom. It's humiliating. It reduces you to your true essence, because I think a lot of us use language as a defense mechanism, as a barrier, that we're able to, we have our set responses and we're able to outmaneuver different situations and feel confident about ourselves. But as soon as you take that away, it's it's embarrassing. Whereas if you're playing tennis, you lose, you miss a shot. Okay, cool, I'll try again. You say something really stupid in a language and they go, ¿qué? And you're and you repeat yourself and they're ¿qué? Perdón, no entiendo. And you're that's oh my God, that's the worst situation. Even though, as the Stoics say, this too shall pass and you will get better. So a lot of people, I think, try to, and it doesn't mean it won't work. I just, for myself and for the people that I've taught, speaking has been the best way to do things. Like, sure, there's some people that love studying and would like to study 6 hours a day and read. I've tried that. I've tried reading and being like, okay, I won't even focus on speaking. Turns out my reading got better, my vocab got better, but as soon as you put me in front of a native speaker, I froze. Because I'm like, I haven't spoken. Like, my skill set went up in reading, my skill set went down in speaking. Like, if you want to get better speaking, you have to speak. So this is the end of it. This is the end of the video. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. If you want to learn Spanish, go ahead, go speak. And, last thing I will say is, I have found that when you are speaking, let's think of like working out, the allegory. Let's think of working out. When you're working out, there's volume and there's intensity. You need both. Like, intensity is how heavy the weight is. Volume is how many repetitions and sets. So you need an adequate amount of volume, but you also need intensity to be there. So if you just do a bunch of volume with like 5 pounds and it doesn't do anything, like that's just a bunch of junk volume. But if you do intensity and you only do like one really hard set, there's literature out there that suggests that like that can work, that like intensity like at one set is like it can do a lot. But imagine if you do really hard intensity with a little bit more volume, or you even do half and half, like medium amount of intensity, medium amount of volume. That's awesome. So in terms of language learning, we have the active, which is speaking, and the passive, which is like studying and like reading. What I found is that this is the intensity and this is the volume. So your reading and your studying might take 6 hours, whereas if that's volume, and you can put intensity in there, but like speaking, you can just do 1 hour or half an hour and your brain is fried. Whereas like reading and studying, you might be there for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours and you can just keep going. You can take little breaks. Like if you've ever traveled to a different country and you're trying to learn the language and you're really struggling, like see how much you sleep. You're just mentally exhausted. I've done it where I was in Belgium and I was like sleeping 12 hours a day and I'm like, what is going on? It's because I'd get home and I'd just be exhausted of just like just thinking, because every time someone spoke to me, it's like, oh shit, what are they gonna say? So if you're trying to, like the Pareto principle, like get 80% or more of your results from 20% or less of your work, this is it. Like, I don't want to spend all day with I've tried it and I got burnt out where I'm like, okay, I'm going to put different podcasts in this language in the shower. When I'm walking, I'm going to have a podcast on. When I have a free time, I'm going to read. When I get this, I'm going to like talk to people, and I got burnt out. It's like, hey, like either I'm learning it or I'm not. But I'm the same way with the gym. Either I'm working out or I'm not. I'm not going to do 20 push-ups every hour. Either I go to the gym and I hit it hard and I don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. I do my speaking and I do my learning for half an hour to an hour a day, and that's it. I don't need 6 hours. I'm not trying to become absolutely completely fluent to where people think I'm a native speaker. I'm trying to get fluent where I can go into a bar and there is no strain from either party to understand each other. You're having like, it's almost like if you both speak English and you're speaking German together, if one of you has to speak switch to English because you're both straining and you're not having a natural conversation, you're not fluent yet. If you could just stay in German and you can still like joke around, there's no strain, like you're both laughing, you can tell that you're having a pleasant time and you're not like tight and like trying, you're fluent. That's what I kind of think of. But I'm near 9 minutes. Hopefully you liked the video and I'll see you next time.